Today I'm going to read from my book called Train Up a Child, the Foundation. This passage is from chapter 4 in part 2. Let's begin. Most of the time, all of the attention is directed towards the children. We overanalyze, and sometimes we even get frustrated over their progress or lack of progress, character or lack of character, how they behave, react, or respond, etc. These things are important. There's no doubt about it. There's something else that is of importance as well. Something that I myself tend to be critical about at times. That is, have we taken the time to examine ourselves and what we may be doing wrong, instead of examining all of the wrong things that our children are doing? Are we forgetting to evaluate our actions and reactions? If this doesn't sound or look familiar to you, it sure does sound familiar to me. It sure does to me. Oh, how much easier life would be if everyone would just listen to me. If they would stop having their own thoughts and agree with mine. Then we can see eye to eye. One thing is certain, we cannot change a person without first changing ourselves. One of the most important duties in leadership is to lead by example. Be the person whom you'd like for your children to be or to imitate. Some options are to go back to school, aim for your calling, grow in your relationship with God, learn new things, and practice peace, love, and patience. Do all that you can do and then let it go. When you go to sleep or when you go about your day, resort back to a peaceful state of mind. If you do not, chances are you'll carry unwanted baggage around into your tomorrow. So, leadership and management are two different things. Leadership is more about taking charge, being the person that you need for your children to be. Be the person whom your family needs for you to be. It's about doing the things that maybe are different, hard, challenging. Maybe it goes against the grain. Leadership is all about being the first one, right? Whereas management is about managing what has already been given to you. So management is about managing what's currently available or what's currently there, right? So when we're thinking about leadership and management in our family, we're thinking about creating the outcome that we want to see in our families and in our lives, and we're thinking about changing that environment that is currently there. So when you're going to make the change, when you're going to become the leader, when you're going to manage what's there, you first have to look at yourself. Look at what you're doing. Look at what your energy is. Look at what your reactions are. Look at what your thoughts are saying. Look at what you're thinking about, right? Leadership is important because you are the first one. You are the one who is taking control, taking charge. You're the one who's stepping out. It's important in family because someone has to do it, right? If someone doesn't do it, then what's been happening is going to continue to happen. If you want there to be a change, you can't look at the other people, the other family members, your children, your spouse. You have to look at you. What are you doing? How are you reacting? How are you setting the example, right? At first, when I saw that there needed to be changes in my life, in my family, I tried to change them. How do you think that panned out? It didn't pan out very good because no one wants you to tell them that they need to change, right? So I found that if you change yourself, if you become the leader of your family, if you show them by example, then eventually, whether it take weeks, months, years, 2 years, 10 years, however long it takes, if you're taking the role of a leader, then you're going to do whatever it takes, however long it takes, to accomplish that outcome. I understand that it can be challenging. I understand that when you're going against the crowd, family members and friends may not agree with you. They may not adhere to the change. They may not be excited about it. They may not be for it. But what you want to do is you want to keep on going. You want to keep on moving. You want to keep on pushing. You want to keep on trying. Keep on reaching higher, right? And as you grow, as you build, as you create the change, little by little, they're going to be watching you. They're going to be seeing you, and all of the reward and the benefit that comes from that leadership, that comes from that suffering or that pain or that challenge or whatever it is that you're triumphing over. They're going to see that. And as you win, they will want to learn how as well. They will want to follow. Any great leader in life, they go out there and they do it themselves, by themselves first. You may not get a round of applause, you may not get a pat on the back, but if the outcome is worth it, if you stick to it, to see that outcome come to pass, eventually, in time, you'll see it. Now, when we talk about management in the family, how do we manage? Management can sometimes, for beginners, can sometimes look like bullying. It may look like telling the other person what to do and how to do it. Management may look like taking charge and taking control in the sense of, in a form that is by force, right? But management in family or in any area should never be by force. It should always be light. The energy should always be with love, with a motive or an intent that I want to help you. I want to get better. I want to make things better. So when you when you manage in business, when you manage in family, when you manage in your career, whatever it is that you're managing, you want to approach it with a good intent. Look at your intention. Why am I seeking to make a change here? What is my intent? When you model good leadership around your children, around your spouse, around your family members, around your coworkers, it doesn't have to be this big thing, right? Leadership is not in the big things. It's in the small things. Leadership is in putting the cart back after you use it. It's not about putting the cart back. It's about doing the right thing, right? You know that the cart belongs in a certain place, so you put it back. And you do it whether it's snowing outside, whether it's raining, whether it's 100 degrees out, you do it because it's the right thing. When your children see you doing the right thing, then they're going to learn from that, right? Next thing you know, you're going to see your children putting the cart back. Mom, Dad, you forgot to put the cart back. It's in picking up after yourself. If you drop something on the floor, maybe trash outside, it could be a little piece of something, a crumb, but you know that crumb it belongs in the garbage can. So you go pick it up and you throw it away. What about your car, right? Leadership is in your car. Do we clean our car every week? Do we pick up after ourselves, pick up the things, the trash that's in the car and throw it away at the end of the day? Or do we have it piling up? It's in the little things. When your family members and your children see you doing the little things, those little things grow and becomes something bigger. It becomes a way of life. It becomes a routine. And that routine, as you continue to do it, you continue to do what's right, you continue to make the extra effort, that routine becomes excellence, right? People will see you as an excellent leader. For example, when I was younger, as we all do, we don't like putting things away when we're younger, right? We don't like cleaning up after ourselves. But when I was younger, I hated washing the dishes. I did not like it at all. My mom, however, she would not allow me to leave one spoon in that sink. And I did not get it for the life of me. Why in the world? It's a sink. You're supposed to leave your dishes in it, right? You can clean it up after. But no, not in my house. um, if I left the sink, I would get yelled at. I'd have to come back and clean it up, put that one spoon away, wash that spoon. I don't want to see that spoon in the sink. Well, I learned from that. As time went on, it became a routine. When I put something in the sink, automatically I know that's not going to stay there. I need to clean it up and put it away. As life would have it, I began working at a specific job, and there's a kitchen there, right? As most jobs do. And, coworkers, they leave their things in the sink, but it felt good that I went through that process. I learned that lesson. When I had a dirty dish at work, instead of leaving it in the sink, as soon as I was finished with it, I'd clean it back, wash it, wipe it, put it back in my lunchbox. And my higher ups appreciated that. So leadership, it's not this big thing. It's not in just the corporate world. It's not in a 500 Fortune company only. It's at home. It's in those little things that you do. Is management controlling? Is it bossy? Is it manipulative? Right? Management can easily turn if you're not careful. When we're at work, it's easy to, because there's people watching you, it's easy to be on your guard, right? To manage the right way. But when we're at home, we have to use the same principles. You have to behave as if someone's watching you, because there is, right? I believe in God, and I believe that He's always watching us, and we are held accountable for our families. We're held accountable for the way we treat one another at home. So when you're managing your children, your household, you want to be careful to not hurt them when you're trying to help them. Even though you may mean well, you want to be careful as to how you're helping them, how you're teaching them, how you're coming across. I know it's hard. It's hard. We have single moms, single dads. We have families with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children. I understand it can be hard. You're tired when you get off of work, and sometimes you just don't have the energy. But that's when you have to incorporate that management in there. You can say to your children or to your spouse, "I'm going to take 5 minutes to myself. I need maybe 20 minutes just to wind down," right? And it's okay. It's okay to do that. You should do that. By doing that, you are practicing and you're leading by example. You're practicing good management, good leadership. You're being honest, right? Instead of blowing up at them because it seems as though they're not giving you the time, be honest with them. I need some time to myself. Take your 5, 10, 15-minute break, 20-minute break. Go get yourself together. And then within the last few minutes of that time, remind yourself, okay, it's time to clock in at home. When you clock out of work, you eventually have to clock in when you get home. Because if you don't clock in when you get home, then the entire evening can just go to waste. With media, with spending time on the phone, spending time watching TV, cleaning up, preparing for the next day, you have to incorporate it. You have to manage that. You have to incorporate time with your family, time to do your hobbies, time to take care of your body. Yeah, I know it could be a lot, but you can do it. You can do it if you have that schedule and you know that you have an idea or a vision as to how you want it to go. It'll be a lot easier. I recently spoke to someone who was dealing with some issues at home. One of the, I believe it was a spouse. His spouse or her spouse was maybe had some mental health issues, and he didn't know how to deal with it. He was trying to manage the chaos and take control of it. He was trying his best. He was trying to lead and take control and control the chaos, right? But he was having such a hard time because he didn't understand what the mental health issue was. He was trying all of these different things and it just wasn't working. And sometimes the best thing that we can do is step back. Sometimes good leadership means stepping back. It means being honest with yourself that I don't know all of the answers. I don't know how to handle this particular situation. And there are people out there that can help you with that, right? There are people out there who are available to assist you, who have studied for that specific thing. There are counselors, therapists, coaches. There's programs out there that you can take advantage of. We're not alone in it. And sometimes it does feel like we are. But I encourage you, don't isolate yourself, because there's no need to isolate. If you want to see that outcome, you may need to get some help. You may need some assistance. You may need a helping hand. I've had lots of helping hands throughout the past few years. Many people may not be able to afford the helping hand, like a therapist or a coach, but check your provider. Ask them if they cover it, if they can cover it for you, or if they provide that help. Also, I got a lot of help from the church, right? You can go to your local church and just listen to messages, and just being around other people, it helps, right? Because there's no perfect family. There's a lot of challenges in the family. So when I needed help and I was going through what I was going through, I couldn't find the right advice for my particular situation, but I kept praying and I kept searching and I kept researching and reading and listening to messages, and eventually I got my answer. I prayed and I received my answers, because man, there was a lot of prayers. Some of the things that you may want to apply leadership in, or you may want to look at managing better, this is what I have from my experience. Some of those things are teaching your children to help others, right? One of the things that you can do is teach them how to help others by the way you help. By the way you help your wife, by the way you help your husband, by the way you help your mother, your father, your grandparents. When they see you helping them, they're learning how to serve, how to help them as well. And when they learn that at home, when they go out there and they're working at their job or building their business, those qualities and those characteristics and those traits that you've invested into them, it'll become a part of them. It will automatically come out from them. It will be a part of them. Communication. Leadership and communication. Communication is a big part of leadership, right? If you're a leader and you're not a great communicator, then there can be a lot of misunderstandings, right? When you're communicating with your children or with your spouse or with the people around you at home, when you go to the family meeting or the family get-together, the way you communicate with one another says a lot about who you are as a person, as a father, as a mother, as a leader, as a teacher, as a parent. When your children are making mistakes, talk to them about it. The more you communicate, the more you talk, the more they're learning. If you don't talk about it, they're not going to learn, right? With your spouse, if you don't communicate about it, how will you reach an agreement or a compromise, or how will you find the answer or the solution? Communication is a huge part of leadership. How you handle disagreements in the family, it truly does matter. When you have a disagreement in the family, do you shut down? Do you withdraw? Do you pull back? Do you find an escape? Or do you run to it? Do you engage, right? Disagreements can sometimes, a lot of people see it as a negative, when in fact it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to engage with your family, to teach, right? It's an opportunity for you to make a change. When there's a disagreement, it's an opportunity for you to communicate your point of view. Disagreements are actually gifts for your family, for your spouse, for your child to say, I don't agree with you. That's an open door. They're communicating it to you. They're not withdrawing, but they're engaging with you. They communicated it to you. Hey, I don't agree with that, or no, I don't think so. Instead of you withdrawing and just uh, uh, fleeing the situation or just numbing out the situation, engage with that disagreement. Let's talk about it. Disappointments as well. Disappointments and disagreements, they're similar in a way, but disappointments, it's emotional, right? When someone is disappointed, they feel those emotions, those negative emotions. But when you're disappointed in your children or in your spouse or in your parents, um, don't don't withdraw. Don't try to escape it. Don't numb it out. Instead, engage. Be the leader that you are. Allow the leader inside of you to arise. Allow the leader inside of you to awaken. Let it come out, right? And allow the leader in you to speak in those difficult moments. That's when your family, your parents, your children need you. They need you to say something. They need you to engage. I know it's hard to become a leader in the family because sometimes your family members don't see you as a leader. Maybe you didn't grow up feeling like a leader as a child. Maybe you were never treated as though you could be one. Maybe you have many siblings and maybe you were the one that they didn't pay much attention to. Maybe your family members just didn't value your input, and so you've quieted down, you've backed down, right? But when you have your own family, or when maybe you don't have children, maybe you're still at home with your parents, or maybe uh, whenever you go to the family function, you keep seeing this issue that needs resolving, or this issue that needs your attention. It seems like you're the only one that sees it. Allow the leader that God put in you to arise and to speak for you. You may want to approach it with prayer. So I understand that I can't do everything on my own, that I need help in every way possible. So by approaching it with prayer, I'm also inviting God to assist me where I am lacking, right? When you approach it with prayer, when you approach it with God, when you approach it with the understanding that I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to try, right? I think I can help. Your family members may take more to that than you approaching it as if you know everything, right? By doing so, you will be able to accomplish what you set out to accomplish. It may take some time. It may not happen in one day. It may not happen overnight, but by doing so, you will be able to see the reward. You'll be able to see the outcome that you want. The reason why leadership and management is so important in the family is If you can become a better leader at home, you can become a better leader out there. Your children can become better leaders. Your spouse can become a better leader. Your family members can learn and grow from watching you. It's up to you. If you feel like there's something nudging you, or like if you feel like there's something that you need to solve, there's a problem that you need to solve, if there's something that's bothering you, most likely it's because you're the one to fix it. By becoming a great leader at home and within the family, you will be able to make the change that you want to see. Becoming the leader of your family. Every army needs a leader. Why does every army need a leader? When you have a group of people who are not yet developed, if you leave them to make their own decisions, carve out their own lives too early, your risk increases. A leader is strategically placed in groups where leadership and management are needed. If we didn't need leaders to model before us what leadership should be like, then there wouldn't be any. However, all throughout our lives, we find that we are being led by teachers, rulers, instructors, disciplines, facilitators, coordinators, planners, scheduling, workers, signs, reminders, grandparents, pastors, the Holy Spirit, aunts and uncles, and of course, parents. Picture driving to another state or a place where you've never been before without a GPS. Granted, you can get there by using a map and figuring it out by yourself, but you can't do both at the same time. You can't drive while looking at your map. The GPS makes things a lot easier and faster. In the same way, us being there for our kids, paving the way for them to follow, teaching by example, makes their journey less difficult and more productive. Imagine if I were to take away your calendar or your cellular device, how much harder your life would be. Try calling your boss to let him know that you accept the promotion without a phone. Try remembering your upcoming meetings without your calendar or your reminders. Try checking your home camera without your device. We have been given tools to help us to succeed. These tools, though we can find alternative ways to accomplish what needs to be done, make it so much easier. Saves us time and protects us from unnecessary stress. When we have good leadership in the household, our families thrive. Their experience at home becomes less stressful, less frustrating, less chaotic, and more productive, more peaceful, and more doable. When we don't have good leadership in the household, our families suffer the consequences of that. My name is Kristie Ramoutar. I am your author, your coach, and your speaker.